This is Radar for On the Radar Entertainment Blog, coming to you another edition of MLB Observations, 7th week of the 2022 season. So I've been noticing with the Diamondbacks, their love affair with catchers. When they have a good catcher in Carson Kelly, they even have Grayson Greiner up, and they had someone else this year as the backup catcher. They got Hummel and they got Varsho. So Varsho's been leading off, even though he's a catcher, he's got no speed, and he's still figuring out, obviously, he's a major league player. So obviously, you're saying to yourself, like, why is he batting leadoff? Then some days he's DHing, which is good because he's not an outfielder, and catching, which is what his position is. Then Hummel actually caught a little bit this week as well, so you're like, cool. I do like seeing Jordan Lupo leading off because he's a speedy, if outfielder makes contact, he's not a power hitter. And I do like seeing that Rojas is actually playing third base, not the outfield, because he's a third baseman. I love Ketel Marte. He's one of my favorite players. He's a top-of-the-order hitter, and if he's in a deep lineup, he'd bat last or eighth, not batting third, because then you get the likes of Pavin Smith batting second, followed at Varsho first, Pavin Smith second. Pavin Smith is a power-hitting first baseman who has no business playing center field, let alone any of the outfield, so you want him in the middle lineup. You don't want him second, and playing first base a few days a week was smart. And then the Cubs. Willson Contreras is one of your best offensive players that you still have left from the original team. He should be batting in the middle of the lineup. He's one of the best offensive catchers in baseball. Just in general, one of the best catchers. Him batting leadoff for second doesn't serve you in case he just hits a home run. He just drives in one run. Okay, I like seeing Rafael Ortega lead off because he brings you speed and defense. And Ian Happ batting third when he's a contact all-around hitter. The Cubs don't really have a great number 3 hitter, so that's why you bat Happ third, Contreras cleanup. Then you go Wisdom and Schwindel. That's not bad. Patrick Wisdom is the first baseman playing third base, so never want to see him in the outfield. Third base is fine, but him in the outfield is stupid. We just went over Ian Happ, perfect to bat third. The dude's not going to hit 30 home runs. He's not a cleanup hitter. And Yan Gomes is a great backup catcher at this point, or a starter on a bad team. He's not a cleanup hitter. That's where Willson Contreras should be. Jonathan VR, I've seen him bat second. That's fine for duties to league in stolen bases, but batting seventh doesn't give you any offensive value when you need RBI guys there. And this Morel dude that they called up, he's listed as an infielder, so I see him playing second, third, short, coolly. He's a young guy who finally made up to the big league. He could play anywhere. But him playing center field is, again, a stretch because he's an infielder by trade. And then Angelto Simmons, the Gold Glove shortstop, they used him to pitch in a blowout. So that's not who I would use in a blowout. A guy who could be an everyday player, that's another story. And the Cardinals, Tommy Edman leading off, perfect. Wasting a DH spot on him is silly. And then Goldschmidt. He's not a number 2 hitter. He's a middle-of-the-order hitter. So I did like seeing him bat third a few times because it's a good spot for him. I know if Harrison Bader doesn't play, that between Lars Nootbaar and Corey Dickerson, you don't have a real backup center fielder. So you have to play Carlson in center field, but it's a little bit of a stretch. And this Yepes dude, he's an infielder by trade. And I see him playing first base, third base, second base in the outfield. Like, they're playing him all over the place and wasting a DH spot on him when you have Dickerson and Albert Pujols and Lars Nootbaar to DH, and I wouldn't put this young dude who nobody's ever heard of second because he doesn't offer you anything and he's not a cleanup hitter yet. And then Dickerson, you got him to be a power-hitting DH for your team. Why is he batting, like, towards the end of the lineup? And then Donovan, he's an infielder by trade again, playing him in the outfield. Pirates. Key Brian Hayes is probably, with Brian Reynolds, your 2 best players, your 2 best hitters. Batting them 1 and 2 is a waste. If you do want to bat Reynolds second, that's fine because he could win a batting title probably, but his best spot is third. So when he did bat third, I'm like, perfect. But then you throw it out of the way when Hayes is 1 or 2. And then Ben Gamel leading off is perfect because he's, again, speed contact guy. But when I see him batting cleanup, I'm like, no. You got Teshugo and you got Daniel Vogelbach. Those are guys who should be in the middle of the lineup. And then Van Meter in a blowout, it made sense for the super utility journeyman to pitch. And then Krill then pitching out of bullpen when his best value is to start as innings, and Chavis playing second base is silly. Because he's not a second baseman. You play the young guys who you're trying to prove. He's bounced around enough. Atlanta, Acuna, Olsen, Albies is your 1 through 3. Those are 3 very talented players, but Acuna and Olsen can bat driving 100 runs and hit 40 home runs. They're not 1 and 2 hitters. And Albies could hit 20-plus home runs as a second baseman, but he's not a leadoff hitter. He's our number 3 guy. Don Duvall, not a center fielder. We've been over this. He's a third baseman playing the outfield. Kyle McHugh, I've been over this, wasting innings out of the bullpen. Then Albies, we over this. Leadoff, not a spot. 5th is okay, but he got a lot of sluggers. He should not be batting 5th. And then this Willson Contreras' brother William, throwing him in the outfield when he's your backup catcher makes no sense when you're already playing a non-outfielder in Adam Duvall. Matt Olson, they bumped him from the 2 spot to the 5th spot. I thought, okay, put him 4th, that would be perfect, but 5th is fine. And then Contreras, they're like, let's bat him 2nd. Dude's a backup catcher. You bat him at the bottom of the lineup. You don't wait a DH spot on him as well. You don't waste a DH spot on RC, the super utility player. You also don't waste RC in the outfield when you have Ozuna and you have Duvall and you got Acuna and you got Demerits. I know there's an injury to Rosario, but still, you got plenty of outfielders. At the same time, the DH spot is perfect for Duvall, man. Like, I don't understand this. Or Ozuna. And then Duvall played right field once. I'm like, finally. Because Guillermo Reyes, I forgot him, he's also on the roster. He should actually get most of the time to play center field or demerit. Miami, Jesus Aguilar and Garrett Cooper are first baseman sluggers. They're all or nothing. They're not leadoff hitters nor the number 2 hitter. And Anderson Williams is a third baseman by trade. No one else should be playing third base. No one on this roster is so talented that they got to bump him off third base that he's got to play the outfield. And Jazz Chisholm leading off makes sense. I saw a game this week where Brian Anderson made great defensive plays at third base. Because, hello, that's a natural position. Miami, like, get it together. And now the Rays, the other team in Florida. Yandy Diaz and G-Man Choi. They're the middle lineup. So when they were batting 3rd and 4th, it made sense. But when one of them is batting 1 and 2, it's a waste. And Wander Franco, a lot of pressure to bat him 2nd. Okay, and the Harold Ramirez is what you call a perfect 4th outfielder. You can play all 3 spots. He has no business wasting a DH spot on him or wasting the first baseman spot when you have a few guys on your roster that can play for a place like Diaz and Choi. And I don't want to see him batting 3rd because he's not a 3 hitter. Nor do I want to see Randy Arozarena bat 4th or 3rd or Margot batting 5th. Those are not power guys. Harold Ramirez is not a first baseman. Brujan, if Lau is injured, he should be playing second base. You get the opportunity to play that every day and stop throwing him in the outfield. And again, wasting the Whistler and Beeks, who have been starting pitchers in the major leagues, not to the most success. When this team is strapped for starting pitching, let's have them pitch out of bullpen or use them as openers. But if you're going to use them as opener, let them go 5 innings. And then Kevin Kiermaier is not a leadoff hitter. And then we got the Orioles. Trey Mancini is not an outfielder. He's your first baseman DH. He's your best asset. Leave him alone. And he's not a number 2 hitter. He's a perfect 3 or 4 hitter for this Orioles lineup. Don't want to see Hayes batting 4th when he's not the greatest offensive player. They also are one of the many teams this week that lost a DH with all the moving around they were doing. The perfect lineup I saw was Mullins, Hayes, Trey Mancini, Anthony Santander. I'm like, perfect. Mountcastle in there too. It's perfect. Dodgers. Mookie Betts, Freddie Freeman, Trey Turner are not the 1 to 3 hitters you need. Turner should be at the top of the lineup, if not 2nd. And Betts, he's been a leadoff hitter, but he'd be perfect 3rd. Freeman's a cleanup hitter. Will Smith is a good offensive catcher, but he's not a cleanup hitter. And Bellinger, we know this. He's not a center fielder. Stop throwing him in the outfield. And then wasting David Price out of the bullpen and then using someone else as an opener. When you could just have David Price go 4 innings, maybe 5, get lucky. Muncy should never be playing second base. When you have Gavin Lux and Hanser Alberto, it makes absolutely no sense. And the guy with the most career in second base before Muncy ever did second base was Justin Turner on this roster. But at this point, his career is not going to move there. And then why is Gavin Lux playing the outfield? You have enough guys. Now, you're going to say to yourself, well, they traded Pollock, so they only have Bellinger and Chris Taylor. Well, you didn't do a good job of getting more outfielders. That's on you a little bit there, Dodgers, to keep playing all these infielders in the outfield. Trey Turner batted leadoff once, perfect. Hanser Alberto, again, they threw him in the outfield when you already have Gavin Lux and Cody Bellinger, when we're like, he should be playing second base, shortstop, or third base. Austin Barnes, a catcher, they threw him at second base when he's an actual catcher. He's the backup catcher. And then in that loss, in that blowout game, we ran out of arms, Hanser Alberto, the utility man pitched, which makes sense, and they lost a DH. Phillies, Rhys Hoskins and Bohm, Nick Bohm, they're not leadoff for 1 or 2 hitters. They're middle of the order hitters. But then you get Gene Segura batting 4th or 5th when he's never been that type of hitter. And then, weirdly, JT Realmuto batting 8th. That makes absolutely no sense. Then the Reds. Why is the Reynolds guy in center field? He's a backup infielder. I like that he was leading off. That's cool. Have him play all over the infield. That's cool. Tyler Houston, he's a good enough catcher in the big leagues, but he's not a number 2 hitter or number 5 hitter. He's bad middle lineup, and don't waste the DH spot on him when you got Colin Moran and Moustakis. Kyle Farmer, we know this. He's a shortstop not a shortstop by trade. He's a catcher playing shortstop, and he's not a number 5 hitter. Again, waste the DH spot on Naquin when he should be playing the outfield. Aquino, I'm glad he's back, but we know he's not a center fielder. He's a corner guy. Nick Senzel, we know he's not a center fielder, but I'm glad he's back and leading off. But he's 7th is not where he belongs. Either batting at the top or the bottom. Brandon Drury, he's playing second base and shortstop. We will notice he's a corner infielder. Colin Moran, you got him to be the middle of the order, not to bat last. And Reynolds pitching a blowout. Blue Jays, George Springer is not a leadoff hitter nor a center fielder. He's your best asset you want to put in the middle lineup. Espinal, He's not a power hitter, should not be batting for Chapman. And then have Gurriel all the way 10th when he was batting cleanup like weeks ago. And then Biggio playing first base now he's back. I guess that's the only spot for him, but again, wait. Don't want to see Vladimir Guerrero second, which then puts Bichette third and fourth. Swap them. Bichette's not a middle of the order hitter, which is what Guerrero is. Don't want to see Alejandro Kirk, the backup catcher, batting before Chapman. I do like seeing Espinal second because that's a speed contact guy. And the likes of Tapia and Zimmer playing center field is good, so Springer's not. Tigers. Robbie Grossman's not a leadoff hitter over there, nor is he a right fielder. He did play left field a little bit, but that was cool. And they've taken this way too far with Willie Castro, who lost his infield job, that he's in the outfield, let alone playing center field. And Harold Castro, the super utility infielder, playing in the outfield too when this team is loaded with outfielders, man. I'm glad that they got Hill and Cameron up, but they got plenty of outfielders between Meadows and Grossman and all the other guys. Again, Michael Fulmer's waste pitching out of the bullpen, and I did like seeing Des Cameron batting leadoff, which was cool. And in one game, Willie played shortstop. Makes sense. Cleveland, Owen Miller, even though this not a middle order. Super utility players are not middle of the order hitter, nor does he need to play first base when you have Josh Naylor on your roster. That's who should be middle lineup with Franmil Reyes. He did play second base a few times, which is cool. Clement, he's an infielder. Stop throwing him in the outfield. And then Rosario batting second is kind of a waste when you need some offense in the middle of this lineup. And then in the outfield is fine because, again, they don't have great outfielders. And then Jimenez actually playing shortstop. That's the best value you can get out of this guy. Mariners, Ty France. Not a number 2 hitter. We would always see the middle of the order hitter. J.P. Crawford. He's either a top of the order hitter or the bottom of the order, not a 3 hitter. And Rodriguez is a rookie. He's not a cleanup hitter at this point in his career. And I know when you have Jesse Winker, and now the Kyle Lewis is back, and you called Trammell up, and you had Souza for a couple of weeks, there should be no point that Adam Frazier, who's your everyday second baseman, is in the outfield, and that Dylan Moore, super utility infielder, is also in the outfield, and Frazier's not a number 3 hitter. He's a top of the order hitter, mostly a number 2 hitter, and Turo, we know that. Not a second baseman. You have plenty of second basemen. Play him at first base, third base, or DH. Don't waste a DH spot on backup catcher Torrin and having Justin Winker lead off when you have a plenty of speed contact guys. The waste you need in the middle lineup. And they called Haggerty up, and guess what? They finally played him second base. Last few years, they've been playing him in the outfield when he's not an outfielder. There you go. Red Sox. Devers is not a number 2 hitter. Should be in the middle lineup. Because then you get like to Christian Roy batting 6th, not a 6th hitter. And he's also not an outfielder, but the Red Sox don't believe in backup outfielder. And wasting a DH spot on Arroyo is also a waste. Jackie Bradley Jr., we told you best defensive value is in center field, not right field. Frenchie playing first base when his best defensive value was playing any 3 outfield spots. And Delback in a blowout, which I was at. They moved him to second base. Kicker Hernandez leading off, which is where he belongs. I'm glad they've been doing that. It's not a bad in the lineup. And playing shortstop a bit, which is cool. Texas. Marcus Semien is not a leadoff hitter, number 2 hitter. You got him and Seager by the middle lineup. So I like when Seager was batting third, but not second. Nate Lau, I just saw a game where he crushed the ball. The dude should be batting between 5th and 7th when you got Seager and Semien and batting 3rd and 4th. Never should see him batting 8th or 9th. Wasting again Matt Moore of the bullpen when they don't have enough starting pitching. Calhoun's not a cleanup hitter when I just mentioned all the guys should be batting there. And Jonah Himes, at this point, is a backup catcher. Not a DH, not a 4th or 5th hitter. Astros, Altuve and Brantley. One's a perfect 2 hitter, one's a perfect 3, not 1 and 2. And Alvarez is not an outfielder. That's really good, so left field is not the best spot for him. I know you're trying to keep Brantley healthy, but still. And Jose Sierra leading off was perfect. Twins. Carlos Correa got to be the middle of the order hitter, not a 2 hitter. So putting Polanco 4th when he's never been that type of offensive player. 2nd is fine, but batting 5th or 6th would be good. Arai should not be playing first base. He did play second base once, which is good. And, you know, he batted second where he belongs. Leading off is better than him batting in the middle of the lineup. Polanco batted second, I said, which is not as bad as cleanup, but it's not his best spot. And Nick Gordon actually plays some shortstop. That's actual position. Kyle Garlick, DH. We need the first baseman DH. Smart. And then Garlick in the outfield. I'm like, no, you got plenty of outfielders between Killarov and Larnach, all these other guys. There's no point into doing that. And Miranda, I'm seeing this guy play first base, third base. Like, what? Make up your mind what he is when he's a second baseman by trade. Royals, Benintendi batting second, perfect spot. Bobby Wood Jr. should not be batting third. The dude's a rookie. He's not a middle-of-the-order power hitter yet. They lost another team to lose to DH, and Hunter Dozier playing the outfield with over the season infielder. Nationals, Juan Soto, we know this. He's a perfect 3 hitter, not a right fielder. Yadier Hernandez is a backup catcher, and Keibert Ruiz is a rookie catcher. Those guys should not be batting 5th or 6th. And Ruiz should not be batting second because he's not the great offensively. And one time, Soto batted third, perfect. Voth, again, you're wasting his innings as a reliever when he could be a starter for you guys. 8th. Laureano, I'm glad he's back, but he's not a 5th hitter. He's never been the greatest offensive player, so he's not a middle-order hitter. And leading off is better, but Seth Brown, we got plenty of infielders. He's playing first base. The likes of Tony Kemp and Chad Pinder, second basemen by trade are in the outfield, and Seth Brown, and before Billy McKinney playing first base when they're center fielders by trade is really stupid. And then Pinder, we know, is not a middle of the order hitter, nor is Bethencourt. I'm glad he's back in the big leagues, but he's a bottom of the order hitter, backup catcher. And Andrews is a bottom of the order hitting shortstop, not, fifth hitter. Angels, Taylor Ward, catcher playing the outfield. We've been over this. Not a leadoff hitter, not the world's greatest speed. Tyler Wade's a super utility infielder they signed to play second base, not to play the outfield. Rengifo, I'm glad he's up on the roster and they're giving him bats, but him batting fifth, not where he belongs. Him leading off was cool. Again, fifth and sixth is stupid. Him batting leadoff for second is perfect. Otana leading off. Why go back to that? Put him in the middle of the lineup, sitting with Trout, stop batting him second. And then again, Rengifo should not play in the outfield. The Angels have plenty of outfield at this point. And Duffy, you signed him also to be your second baseman. Why is he playing first base? And he's not a cleanup hitter. Padres, Manny Machado, you got him to be the middle of the order hitter, not your two hitter. Profar, he's not a number 4 or 3 hitter, nor should be wasting a DH spot when you have a bunch of guys who can DH. And he's not playing the outfield. Again, he's an infielder. Cronenworth playing first base is stupid when you have 3 first basemen. In Myers, Hosmer, and Voigt. And him leading off is a pretty good spot for him. Giants. Austin Slater, we know this. He's not a leadoff hitter, nor a center fielder. He's a power corner infielder. Darren Ruff should have no business playing the outfield, let alone batting leadoff or second when he's in the middle of the lineup. Because they have Luis Garcia, and they called up some other young guys who can play first base, who are like first base and third base by trade. You take the young rookies who are unproven, you throw them in the outfield. You don't throw Darren Ruff out there. You're just screwing him over there. Yastrzemski batting third is stupid. That's not where you want to bat him. Crawford batting fifth. Again, it's stupid when Ruff is batting first or second or Belt's batting first or second. You want those guys in the middle lineup. And Estrada is now taking Mauricio Dubon's spot as the super utility man, but again, not a center fielder. You got plenty of outfielders. And Luis Garcia, who's there, pitched in a game in a blowout, and they lost a DH as well. White Sox. Vaughn batting second. He had a great day when I was at the game yesterday. He was the only bright spot. But again, the way that Abreu, Grandal has been hitting, and Moncada's been hitting, and now with Robert in the disabled list, you want Vaughn and Sheets and Berger to be batting between 3 and 7 to help out the likes of Grandal and Abreu, okay? And Vaughn, him and Sheets playing the outfield is stupid, but they got no other choice with Robert and Lloyd hurt. And Robert batting third was the perfect spot until he got hurt. Yoel Moncada batting leadoff in a doubleheader, stupid. The dude hasn't been hitting. Why would you think batting first would help? Nor batting second is not really helping him out either. Pollock batting fifth. The dude also hasn't been hitting, so you don't want a middle lineup. And him batting third is really confounding stupidly. I've seen him multiple times in live. If the dude's not hitting well, you don't bat him third. And then Jake Berger played second base in a blowout. That's just how it is, even though he's not a second baseman. Vaughn played second base in a blowout for 1 inning again. And then Josh Harrison pitched the blowout I lost last night. Pretty interesting. But then they lost to DH for all the maneuvering around. Yankees, we over this. DJ Mayer's not a leadoff hitter. He's a perfect 2-hitter. But again, with all these guys on the roster, they're trying to figure out where to put him. So him playing third base, first base, and DH is going to happen. But he play second base once. Judge, not a number 2 hitter, batting third or fourth. Never should be batting leadoff or second. And why is he playing center field also when you have Florial and LaCastro and Aaron Hicks? It makes no sense. And again, Judge batting first is really stupid. Marlon Gonzalez, again, they got enough outfielders. Keep him in the infield. Again, Rizzo should not be leading off. I'll take DJ Mayo leading off any day over Judge and Rizzo. They should be in the middle lineup. Aaron Hicks leading off. He's not been hitting great, but that's where I would put him. And Andujar, again, he got plenty of outfielders. Stop playing him in the outfield. DH him or play him at first or third base. Mets. I love the squirrel Jeff McNeil, but we know this. He's not a 3 through 6 hitter. And I know there's been some injuries, so he's been playing left field, but come on. It's not his best spot, and he's not a middle of the order hitter. And then Lindor batting second is stupid when Jeff McNeil should be batting second. They also lost a DH as well. The Rockies. Connor Joe, we know this. He's not an outfielder by trade, nor is he the most speediest or greatest hitter ever. Should not be batting leadoff. Charlie Blackmon batting second. It's a waste when he's been a leadoff hitter his whole career. Batting third is a perfect spot because he makes a lot of contact. Chris Bryant playing the outfield again is stupid, but then he got hurt. There's no other place for him. Grichuk playing center field when they got a couple center fielders, and Hampson playing center field when he's a shortstop by trade is again pretty stupid. And then the Brewers. The Brewers, man. Andrew McCutchen batting leadoff for second is silly when you got to be your 5th or 6th hitter. Colton Wong has been batting leadoff for second for most of his career if he's not at the bottom, so 7th is kind of a waste. Again, Lorenzo Cain batting 8th away. Tyrone Taylor's a 4th outfielder. Not a number 4 through 6 hitter, bat up the bottom of the lineup. And Mike Rosario is a first baseman by trade, so he should never be playing shortstop, let alone third base. But you have Urias and you have Willie Adames. No one else should be playing shortstop but them. Thanks for listening to another edition of MLB Observations Week 7 for the 2020-22 season. For On the Radar Table, I'm Radar. See you guys next time.